Hello and welcome back to another more Kombat video, and in this video is going to be my final overview of Raiden before the Aftermath patch, and we are basically a week away to the Aftermath, and it's highly anticipated for, the balance patch. Especially for me, I'm really hoping for a lot of changes for the game. But this video is going to be a little different. It's going to be kind of like an overview of what my thoughts about Raiden currently with his, basic, strings, jabs, specials, variations. I'm going to go over them, what I think about him in my personal opinion, and I'm going to talk about some changes to Raiden if it comes up. So, basically, we'll talk about Raiden's power game. I think it's solid. It's really solid. And it can be quite annoying because both his down 3 and his down 1 are both -3. Raiden's down 1 can be like -2 at a certain range, like right here. So he can literally mash this a lot, which is kind of annoying. And I think a lot of this needs to be a change with part universally, how making down pokes more minus, so you actually lose your turn if they block the poke. But as of right now, his poke game is pretty solid. His down 4 is pretty good, especially on hit. Like this. That's actually jails. The opponent cannot, can't backdash, can't jump, can't press buttons. Like, it's pretty solid. Now, if you hit it from a certain way, like far range, you probably can't get that. But with Thunderwave, you can actually teleport. I'm not really good at special cancel with the sweep, with the back. But you're still +7, so you can still get like a 1-2 jail, or you can also do back 1. So if you get a hit from it, and you hit it from a pretty decent range, and you can't get that jail, you could just do a teleport and actually get the jail. It's kind of interesting. So his back 4, which is a sweep, I think it's pretty solid. Nothing great about it, but it's pretty good. Has pretty decent range. I like to use it whenever I do like a back 2, and I'm like at this range, like making the opponent guess. It's like they'll block it, or they're looking for the overhead, or they're looking for the low. I could just like go back here and just do this, mix them up, something like that. And to go to his strings, I think his strings are pretty solid, but also some strings are just don't make sense and do need to be fixed. His standing jab is pretty good. His standing one's actually a pretty good anti-air, but I haven't really mastered the anti-air. Yeah, pretty solid standing jabs. This string, it's pretty solid. Standing 2 is pretty decent range. Yeah, it's pretty decent. So you like jail into this. And, this string's pretty solid. -3 on block. Plus you can special cancel out of it and do something like this. Stuff like that. So this string is pretty solid. Plus it's a good combo starter as well. Well, obviously his back 1. All that we need to do is just make it safe, and this string is pretty good. Now, online against casual players, you can stagger this, but honestly, this is not really a true stagger since it's -7. So if the opponent reads you stagger, they could just easily outbeat your stagger. It's alright. You get to waste resources every time to do this. So basically, the opponent's gonna know either you gotta waste your resources to be safe, or just do a backward stagger. Now, in casual play, you can get away with just doing this. So the big difference between casual and competitive play, you can get away with everything with Raiden. Like, you can get away with this, you can get away with this, but you should not get away with it since it has a far spot gap on the second hit. Super punishable, so you shouldn't get away with this. But in casual play, no one really flaws blocks. Plus, there is a gap on the after the first hit. If I can get it. There's a gap right there that you could really deal with. And Raiden loses his turn. No. Then like Johnny Cage can do his shenanigans and stuff like that. Now, for this stream, I kind of wish, you know, they should get rid of the flawless block gap. They should get rid of it. But somehow keep the down poke counter. So there was actually counterplay to this string, because this string is pretty solid. It's a pretty solid string. You know, you're -6, but you get pushback, and you'll kind of reset the neutral. Not too much neutral, but you know, enough range to keep your distance away from certain characters sometimes. But it is kind of on the slow side. Maybe a little speed wouldn't hurt, because honestly, all people ever do is block lower gets win, because he has no overheads besides this, but it's super slow. So honestly, I kind of a speed boost for this wouldn't be too bad. But you could have a situation to where you do this, and the opponent, you know, is looking for the overhead, and you just quickly, like super quick, just hit this. So that could be a feint. Could add like a huge 50 in that situation. So that could be the feint that could happen, and people might get upset. But maybe make it 14 frames at least. Might not be the worst move, but it's still a decent low, pretty decent range. Just overall, just take away the flawless block gap at the end, and just keep the down poke gap. So Raiden loses his turn and makes counterplay. Now the next move I want to talk about is something that's it's probably one of the worst, one of my worst irritations with Raiden, because this stream, as you can see, he's supposed to be a plus on this stream, but he's only +1, and plus there's pushback, so there's nothing I can really do. Like I get plus for no reason, but it's like we set the neutral, I guess, kind of like, you know, this. It's like basically the exact same thing, but I'm plus. But the major problem with this is it's full combo punishable gap. Like it's a full combo punishable gap, and it's basically it's high risk, low, like literally like low reward. If maybe they would maybe put some more plus points, like 3 to 4 at most, I think honestly this would be better. But still, they should take away the punishable gap again, such like this, where you could take away the flawless block gap, release, have the poke. Just take away the punishable gap between that, but keep a flawless block gap at the end, so the opponent has to flawless block and waste their resources to punish, because I'm only -4 whenever I get flawless blocks, so I don't really I kind of lose my turn, but it's only -4, but make the opponent have to use resources maybe to, like, you know, punish me, or kind of like make it unsafe on the flawless block. And that could add you know, the mind game of, like, if I gotta do the full feint and the opponent goes for you know, tries to do a block buffle, you can like throw him, or you know, do a standing jab or something. Like, it creates mind games with this move, because honestly there was no mind games, because it's super reactable and it's high risk, low reward. Like, there's literally no reward for hitting it. Like, literally Johnny Cage can do like backdash, jump, poke, especially in the corner. Like, you get no reward from it, so there's absolutely no point for having the small reward of having a +1, honestly. So increase the plus points, remove the full combo gap, at least and keep the flawless block cap to create mind games and stuff like that, to make, you know, this move have more purpose and force players to like learn the flawless block it, so they don't have to deal with me getting plus points. But I am it ain't like Liu Kang's, where Liu Kang could just like be right next to you, because if there was a pushback, it ain't like Liu Kang's how it does do a little pushback, but it doesn't like leave Liu Kang so close to it. He can just keep spamming it, because, you know, standing free is high, so you could like, if I run up and do it, you could just down poke me. Well, Liu Kang's forward 4 is a mid, so I think it's fair. So let's see what. Oh, also I want this special cancel. I would really like it in special cancel, because there's no point of it as of right now. It's kind of useless. As I've said in a recent video like a month back or so, it's kind of useless in my opinion. Well, actually, it's actually useless. I don't know why I said that. It's actually useless. Now, what's another thing? I think that's basically it. Then this thing, the other backward digital. This move is useless, no point, because it's super def on hit. Like, and it leads to nothing. It leads to a knockdown, and you know, if I hit just the 4, it's like that's all the damage I get. There's no reward for it. It's honestly really nothing. If you do it in the middle of a combo, as a combo duel, not a lot of damage. It is 40 hit advantage, but you could just do this. Well, if you do that, you get like 31%, and it's like 34. Not too much different hit advantage. Like, there's no hit advantage. You know, there's no point of just getting a couple more hit advantage just on a different knockdown. That's like. Now, if this was a meterless launcher or had a crushing blow property, I think it could be more like, okay, I would try to go for it. But honestly, against Raiden, most players are just gonna block low, because there's no threat of overhead. Whenever like once Raiden does like a streak, they're just gonna block. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna block low because there's no overhead. But yes, this is overhead, but it's super slow and reactive. So as of right now, it's kind of on the pointless side. Alright, so we're done with that. Now, actually, never mind. There was actually a couple more things. 4-4, really strong with punish roll. Really good. This is more the whiff punishing into special cancel controllable. Now, when it comes to forward 2, let's say forward 2 is my neutral check, like, you know, we're in this range. I just use it to check. I don't use it like if I hit confirm. I don't really use special cancel because I'm not looking for, you know, looking for a whiff punish. I'm looking for like a random check, like checking if he's like making movement. And plus, if I hit, I get pretty good rewards. I'm plus 18, so I can get this confirm, jails, this jails, this jails. Also, I could do the thing where I go jump up and do a short hop, since, you know, they're not really looking for an overhead, they're looking for a low. Because to do my back 2, I had to dash up and do it. See? So I could like do this real quick if they're looking for the low. You'll catch people all the time with this because they're not expecting it. Now, especially in a corner, this is super strong because you're like right next to him, and you can like confirm a lot of effects. You can even confirm your standing 3, which is plus on block, plus 3 on block. At certain ranges it could be like plus 4. Can be, okay, whatever. Forget about it. Yeah, you can get a super plus. I mean, you get plus 3, and you know you get like. Now what am I doing? You know, you go for a back one with stagger, or what you could do is standing 1 jab into throw. You can also do something like that mid screen. Like, you get a lot of opportunities off that. You can dash in and get this as well. But the thought of like maybe they could accidentally, you know, if you don't hit it in time, they could neutral duck. But still, yeah, you still get a lot of opportunities if you get this on hit for pressure, jab poke game, something like that. So yeah, this is the really good neutral check, good with punish roll, and good combo extender in combos sometimes. So I think that's it for strings. Now we're going to talk about specials and variations. Basically, you know, his teleport is very solid. It's basically his best special he has in the game. It's the only thing that really keeps this variation actually kind of useful is the teleport, as I've been told by pro players. But besides that, you know, Storm Sail is it's a good damage launcher, but it does have issues with breakaway, such as like doing this. If you do this and they break away, you get full combo punish. This on female characters is really bad with back 1-2. Females, you lose damage for no reason because of hitbox. Also, you know, things like that. I honestly believe it should do a thing to where if you're caught in the storm set, you can't break away until after that point, like right there, or until after I hit you, then you can break away, because it would take a, like, you could possibly know if they break away, which I'll show you. I kind of did this in my other videos. So if I do this, and if they get caught by the breakaway, it could be an anti-breakaway tool. So whenever they do get hit by this, the opponent's got a second guess going for a breakaway because they'd be wasting the resources. Like, it'd be a pretty good, you know, pretty good buff to Storm Sail if breakaways are still the same, which I don't think they will be, but in the current meta of the game, this would be a really good buff for Storm Sail. So, yeah, that's kind of basically it for this variation. Now, talk about his other specials, like universal special, like his projectile. It's all wide, but honestly, it can be a little bit faster because Raiden does get outzoned a lot. So honestly, it could be sped up. This move it's one thing faster than his projectile, but honestly, you know, I wouldn't say it should be sped up, but on block it should be a little less unsafe, because certain matchups it's bad, but like if you do this, you're allowing your opponent to quickly speed up to you, because after that they could just go up and go up real quick and they get advanced closer. And this, they could just walk up and keep moving until they see this part. So his zoning, like, the problem with his zoning is that opponents can quickly walk up to him after you do like one projectile, where other characters in the game, they could just easily fall projectile after projectile and you have to like move slow. Like, I'm not saying Raiden should be sped up so fast to where you have to be like this, but let Raiden shoot at least like maybe like one other projectile to do a little bit more, you know, make his zone just a tiny bit better, not make it stupid to where you're doing this all day. Ugh. I like that. And a thing I would really like to see, which I've mentioned is like, I think once or twice, is input changes, because Storm Sail takes away Summon Lightning, and I think Summon Lightning and Lightning Strike should be universal throughout all variations, because I just don't see the point of taking these moves away by variation. There's only one tournament variation currently right now that has both of these, and that's Truth and Light. But honestly, I feel like all of his variations should have all of his, you know, tools. So I want this to be in the Raiden variation as well, and have Summon Lightning in this variation, so we can have a powerful anti-air grab as well. So that's then I guess we'll talk about Electrify real quick before I switch variations. But honestly, you know, Electrify is, you know, it's Electrify, but I think the question blow requirements has to change. It's one of the worst in the game, because you literally have to catch him basically full screen. You get decent damage, 25, but that's from full screen though. And you're gonna die if you you know, they block it. You know, obviously. I think the thing that should be done, it should be like sub-zeros to where you do the electric, you know, I mean amplified. And I think it's 2 times for sub-zero. Like if you do it 2 times, at the 3rd time, it would do the damage. So that can add like a short combo like this. It's unbreakable. Let's see. So you get like a combo like this. It's unbreakable damage. It's about 30 damage. Now that wouldn't be a problem because Raiden already has a 1-2-1 crushing blow. That's 28. So doing this and doing that is not. It's failed. Something like this. Let's see how much damage this does. 32, but you can break away from this combo. 32, that's okay. Now, if he does like a back 2 crushing blow, I missed the combo. I'm trying to do the economical. Now, if he does something like that, that is pretty powerful. But it is kind of your fault getting hit by back 2, so you kind of deserve it. But maybe do some damage scaling, maybe? Could be a thing on this one. But it's pretty good and pretty powerful. Now, if you do like a combo like this, it's a 2-volt combo. Oh, I missed it. Two-volt combo, 39, 38, 9. It's not too bad. Awful blow. So see, you could do a lot of damage if you have this crushing blow ready to go. So that should be the crushing blow requirement. Just have you do it 2 times, and then the 3rd time it would crushing blow. It'd be a really good you know, adjustment to the crushing blow because it's really bad. So now we're gonna go talk about the Raiden variation real quick. Then we're gonna talk about Truth and Light. Then that'll be it for this video. So let's get to it. Now, if they make the adjustments that I talked about with the you know, Thunder Wave, I think Raiden would just be solid. As of right now, it is a pretty solid variation. It's just the problem is Raiden's weaknesses overall, you know, are present still. So, you know, if you just make adjustments to Raiden overall, then YG would be a really, really good variation. So basically, you know, I would really like to have the lightning strike in this variation as well, because this variation has the summon lightning as well. But having the lightning strike would be a nice addition to this variation, and have a, you know, electric burst be a different input. But I honestly don't know if we're gonna have that. But that's what I would like to see. Have those as universal tools. So Raiden has like stuff you can do this, and if you block, you know, you can like check it with a lightning strike. Like this variation feels like it's more of a keep away variation. So like give him like, you know, all of his you know, projectiles and stuff would be very nice. So that's kind of basically it for this variation. There's not too much because I think this variation is made pretty well because all the moves coexist together, obviously. And we're gonna talk about this variation, obviously. This is gonna be pretty short because I've talked about this variation so many times. Basically, revert this back to pre-hood variation patch Joe push, except have a different input besides back forward 1, which it was before the the patch, because this was not available in with Joe push. If you had Joe push, you couldn't do this, but make a different input so you can do both electrify and the Joe push and keep this, and you can actually do more damage. But they should also revert the way it juggles, because the way it juggles now, you can't like really do big combos. Like, see, you used to be able to do this. Plus on female characters, this move is terrible. Like, you can't even hit down female characters sometimes. Or this. Look, it whips, like, this even whips on Johnny Cage. Well, because he kind of has a small foot block sometimes, but like still, on some other characters, this whiffs, it's really bad. So just revert it back to where it was, make it a better launch tool. And the final thing, I want to talk about this. I think this should honestly be out way longer. I'll say like 5 seconds, the most. Plus, the worst thing is like literally the player tried to like do like a micro dash block. It just negate the effects of it and get rid of it, and you just basically waste your resources for nothing. Just overall, this build is just, I don't think it's not really worth your resources, but if you want to keep your opponent trapped in there and like get a couple, you know, chip damage here and there, or do something like this, and you got the advantage. That's kind of basically it. So like this what it would look like for 5 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. See, it's quite a bit of time out there, so I can like do a lot of these projectiles. And plus, doing the, you know, the gas that you need, like the player can easily micro dash block and just hit the front of the lightning rod and just, you know, get rid of it. Like, it's easy to get rid of, and that's one of the main problems with it. But that's kind of all you should really do with the variation. So yeah, that is that's it for this video. This was a pretty long video. I haven't done a video like this long in a while, but I just wanted to go on my final overview of Raiden before the Aftermath patch, and I think he's a decent character. Not he's, you know, I wouldn't say he's like bottom 5, but he does have problems that make him really bad in certain matchups, and like overall a lot of characters do so much things better than Raiden that makes him not highly picked. But his teleport's like a really redeeming factor to him. So if like, you know, if they make some of the changes I've talked about, or maybe some changes that other players talked about, Raiden could be a very solid character and could be seeing this character a lot more in competitive play. In competitive play, he's not great, but in casuals, if players don't really know the stuff, you can get away with basically anything. Like, you can get away with this all the time, you can get away with this stuff. So it's a very big difference between casual and competitive play with Raiden, of how good he is. But, yeah. So, Raiden's not too far from being pretty solid in the game, just a couple adjustments, and he could be a very solid character. But yeah, this is it for the video. Hope you guys, you know, like and subscribe, and see ya.